The levee, it is breaking, it's gonna flood the town. It's man against Mother Nature, and we're fighting on the ground. The rain, it is tapping upon my window frame, calling me out.
All right, guys, so today what I'm going to do is a haircut. I wanted to switch it up and do a men's cut today. I know a lot of you guys like the men's cuts. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through this disconnected front of a men's cut. The cool thing about the cut today is that we're going to work with disconnection, but it's going to be a weightless disconnection because of our elevation. So if that confuses you, you should definitely watch this entire video. So the inspiration from this cut came from a haircut that I used to wear in high school because I listened to a band called Blink-182, and the lead singer, Tom Delonge, had this haircut with this disconnected front, and I loved that haircut. I wore it all the time, but when I had it cut on my head, it never really was right. So today, this is my version of that haircut, and I know a lot of you guys still listen to that band, so a lot of you might be looking for this type of cut. It's kind of the bangs in the face. It's more of a rock and roll cut. You could flip the bang up if you wanted to and wear it kind of back as well. So there's a lot of versatility to this cut, so you don't have to wear it just like this. But a couple other things I love is that it has a little bit more length in the haircut, but all of this disconnection is seamless because of the elevation. So let's just get started so you understand it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think, and here we go. All right, so we're going to start off our sectioning high on the parietal ridge. So I want to take that section, especially when I'm working with men's hair, and this is definitely a higher density of hair. I want to work higher on the parietal ridge because as I work up to the parietal ridge, I'm going to be leaving a little extra weight to help build in that shape. So I'm going to start off taking vertical sections right in the temple area, straight out from the head, no over direction, and just cutting a straight line down. What that's going to do is play off of the curves of the head. So because I'm holding it straight out, you could see that the angle on the very top of my finger is at more of a 45-degree angle, so it's going to give us more of a graduated feel. And then as I work my way down the section, it's more 90 degrees, so it's going to give me a layered feel. So that's what's going to collapse the sides down. I'm leaving a little extra length because in this haircut, the sides don't need to be super short. There needs to be a little bit more movement in there. So just working along that whole panel, everything's coming straight out, no over direction again. And watch how I comb the hair. So I'm scooping the hair. What that's doing is helping me push that new hair towards the guideline so that I'm not moving my guideline from where it lives. If you think about what a guide is it's a place that you're bringing something to. So you definitely don't want to move it from where it is because then you're creating a completely different guide and your haircut's going to be completely different at the end. So just make sure that you're always combing the new hair towards the guideline. Now, as we move into the back point of the haircut, I'm going to switch from going vertical sections to diagonal back sections. And I'm going to work that all the way through from behind the ear to the nape of the neck. Using my blacksmith fit scissor from Mizutani. It's a 6.5-inch scissor. I like to keep this one handy when I'm doing men's cutting, especially in the sides, because if I switch to scissor over comb or anything like that, I like having the longer blade. Longer blade doesn't really matter when you're working in your fingers. So you could choose pretty much any length scissor that you're looking for, but I like the blacksmith fit as my kind of go-to tool for men's cutting. And not even that it's the blacksmith fit, mostly because it's the 6.5-inch scissor. So we're working through we're going diagonal back, like I said, and everything's coming straight out from the head at 90 degrees. So we're not creating any weight in this point of the haircut. We're following the head shape, creating those round layers in there. And you can see how small my sections are. And this is actually sped up, so I slowly take that parting. And you can see even with it sped up, it's pretty slow because I want to make sure that those partings are exactly the way that I want them every single time. So I really take my time when making those partings because that's going to make your haircut more consistent in the end. So just continuing through the back, working palm to palm, keeping everything at 90 degrees, and staying as consistent as possible using those small sections. Now I'm going to go through, I'm going to use my Prepare spray. This is our liquid tool glide that we use for razor cutting. I also love it as a cutting lotion. So I think a lot of times we go in and we'll just keep spraying water on the hair, which is fine. But when you're working with these type of sections, it's nice to have something with a little condition to it that helps hold the hair that you're not going to feel in the hair in the end when you blow it dry. Also, I do want to say that the head sheet that you see on the left-hand side, you can download that by clicking the link in the description below, which will take you to our Dropbox and allow you to download the head sheet so that you can use it at your station if you want. Some people are making books with them and all of that. So this will be about my last section, working all the way over to the opposite corner of the head and keeping that diagonal feel to the hair, still keeping it at 90 degrees, except for if you see right in the bottom of my finger, that's going to be a little bit lower elevation. So we are building up a little extra weight in the crown area. So you can see I'm using the fine teeth of the comb. This is my 339 comb from YS Park. I like this comb because it has a lot of tension. It's a smaller comb, so when I'm working in tighter spaces, I like that as well. And then the wider teeth are not too wide, so I find it a very versatile comb for pretty much any situation. So if I was going to pick one comb, that would be what it was. And now I'm going to add a little bit of Prepare to the right side before I start that. So start off, I'm going to take 1/2-inch sections again. Now I know there's going to be the question of how do I match up each side. So what I usually do is I'll make a cut and then check and kind of stand in front of the head or look in the mirror and see if I've matched up the sides, if they look right, and then I'll move on. Don't try cutting the whole entire side and then checking. Just check that first section right away. So big difference here is really that I'm combing more on top of the hair and pushing instead of scooping underneath. That's to, again, keep that new hair going towards the guideline and not pushing the guideline away. So just keep working through the back, vertical section, and building up that weight towards the parietal ridge, collapsing the shape underneath, and working those layers throughout the head. Once I get behind the ear, that's when I have my guide to move into the back. So that's going to be a little bit different with each person that you're working on. So just work the hair until you get to that ear point. Then you can connect your guideline from that and work into the nape of the neck, working diagonal back. The hardest part about working through the back is not building up too much weight, because no matter what, automatically when we comb the hair down, we want to drop our fingers down as well, which is going to build up a lot more weight in the haircut. So just make sure that as you're working through, you keep your hair or your fingers directly out from that parting and you don't drop them down too much. In some cases, you want to do that, but in men's cutting, for the most part, you want to collapse that shape and create those layers. All right, so we're going to speed up the back a little bit. Basically, what you want to do is just stay consistent through the back, working palm to palm, cutting everything at 90 degrees, and you'll be good to go through the back. Now, as we work into the crown area, what I'm going to be doing is taking a vertical section and pulling it straight out from the head. So there's our vertical section, and no over direction whatsoever. I'm going to start by scooping the hair towards the center as I work to the left. So just working across the head shape. What is going to be happening through this part is that I'm building up more weight towards my fingertips. That's more at a 45-degree angle. And then I'm creating a 90-degree collapsed layer as I move down the head shape. So still only building up the weight towards the crown, but that's going to give us a nice shape at the end of this cut. A little bit of over direction in the side corner, which will push some weight forward, which looks really nice in the end. You can always go through, do a little scissor over comb to tighten that up. But yeah, just working through the back. And this, now I'm going to do more of a scooping motion. Again, this ties into combing the new hair towards the guideline. So on the right-hand side of the head, I just scoop the hair over. So you can see that shape really build up. Now I'm going to go through, I'm going to blow dry using my 339 comb. The reason I blow dry with the comb is because it gives me that extra tension, helps smooth the hair out. But what I want to look for, and why I blow this dry before I cut the top, is I want to look for the shape. I want to see how the nape is feeling. I want to go through and do all the outer edges. So I'm using my my T trimmer right now and just working around the entire head shape. I want to finish the sides and the bottom before I move to the top. I like seeing the haircut unfolding, the shape that I'm creating coming out in the head. So it's just personally, that's a personal preference for me. You could go through and cut the whole entire thing wet if you want to, but I just tend to like seeing the whole shape unfold as I'm going through the haircut. So this is even though this is a mannequin right now, I like to comb the hair over the ear and just kind of tap the trimmer around the ear. What that's going to do is not give me too much of a tight feeling, and a lot of people end up cutting those white walls on top of the ear, so it keeps you from doing that as well. But if they want it a little bit higher around the ear, then just fold that ear down and take the trimmer around it. Now I'm also rounding the edges of this haircut. I don't want it to be too squared off. I think that gives it a little bit more of a natural feel. And the thing I like about this haircut is it is a little bit longer on the sides. So it's not, I think hair is moving a little bit longer. It seems to be the trend. So, as people are growing out their fades and different things like that, I think this is a good cut to transition them into. They probably already have a little bit longer hair on top. So you could definitely mess around with that, but just leave the sides a little bit longer. So now we're taking out the top, combing it down. I'm using water at that point, and I'm splitting the head at the division point. So I'm basically imagining a front and a back in the head shape. So find that apex, find that high point, and comb the hair straight back. So what I'm going to do is work those vertical sections just like I did in the low crown area. Now I'm working high crown, and I'm following the head shape to collapse it. So the heaviest point will be still sitting at low crown. And I'm swapping out scissors there because I was working with my blacksmith fit, but when I'm working on cutting on top of the head, I like using a shorter scissor on top of my fingers. So this is a 5.7 DB20 scissor from Mizutani as well. All right, so working across the head shape, everything is being brought straight up, and using a traveling guide throughout the back crown. Pretty much the same exact way that we did on low crown, just continuing that in the back. You can see me kind of shift my finger. What I'm looking for and what makes this a seamless disconnected cut is the fact that even though they don't connect the sides and the top, because I'm cutting this at 90 degrees all over the head shape, it will fall seamless. There will not be any lines of weight because of the way that I'm holding the hair right now. So you want to make sure that horizontally and vertically you're holding everything at 90 degrees. So you can see my angle 90 degrees here, but when I cut the other side, you'll see the opposite angle, which is also at 90 degrees. So I'm coming straight up and straight out. So you can see how those layers, the buildup of weight is there if you lift it, but if you comb it down, it's nice and seamless. So that is the trick of the day today that I really want you guys to take from this haircut and use it in your other disconnections that you do. So following that head shape, working through, keeping everything at 90 degrees. It's really important, like when you're cutting at 90 degrees, you want to make sure that no matter how you're holding the hair, you don't want one tiny bit of an angle below 90 degrees if you're trying to not build weight. So you can see how I'm elevating that straight up from the head, and I'm also cutting it at 90 degrees. So I'm cutting at 90 degrees vertically and horizontally, which is going to give me a seamless cut. Now I'm going to work into the front bang area of the haircut. This, you want to have a rhyme and reason to the front being longer. So I am going to connect it, and I'm going to follow the head shape a slight bit because I don't want it to collapse it too much, and I don't want too much length in the front. So I'm working these horizontal sections throughout the top, and just now I'm over directing everything over the part. So bringing everything over towards me, stationary guide, that's going to give me a side angled bang on the cut. And but I'm also following the head shape, so it's keeping the weight there. It's keeping the layers in line. So you still get, even though this is a disconnected haircut, it has a purpose for everything. So the last section there, over directing it and finishing out the cut. And there you go. So now what we're going to do is we'll go through, we'll blow it dry, still using our 339 comb. The thing I like about blow drying men's hair, and I think a lot of guys might say they don't want to use a blow dryer. I use a blow dryer every day, even on my hair, because you have to place the hair where you want it first. Then you put the product in. It takes 2 seconds to blow dry, but you can see how already the hair is smoothing out because I'm using that 339 comb. So that gives me the tension and pulls the hair where I want it. Now I do want some of that wave in there, but I'm going to go in and cut some dry cutting on the top. So I wanted to see how that weight is laying, and then I'll activate it a little bit more by spraying a little bit of water at the end and adding the product in. So just going through, I wanted to see how heavy that front was, and then I'm going to do some dry cutting now at this point. So you can see how seamless and how those layers just kind of flow together even though they're disconnected. So this is my Mizutani Puffin dry cutting scissor. Go through, do a little slide cutting in the bang just to finish off adding the details. Now I got my Mercado Carve, which is my favorite. It's a cream wax, and I spray just a couple mists of water just to dampen the hair a bit, and then I add the Carve in there. What that's going to do is kind of give it more of a wet look to the hair, but still has a nice hold to it. All right, guys, if you're in need of any tools, scissors, combs, clips, brushes, anything like that, definitely check out freesaloneducation.com. Hope you like this cut. All right, guys, like always, if you like the video, make sure you post in the comments below and let me know. And if you made it this far in the video, then I'd love to hear that as well. Also, go to freesaloneducation.com and check out everything that we have to offer on our website. And thank you guys so much for the support again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.
Well, the water is a time bomb. Look into the eye of the storm and take a picture with your mind, 'cause nothing lasts better in time. Well, the water is a time bomb. Look into the eye of the storm and hear the thunder. Here I come, and in a drop, 1,000 fall.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? Welcome to today's vlog. Today I've got something pretty cool for you guys. My friend Shrek is coming in to get his hair cut, so we're gonna do this men's cut. And the cool thing about this cut is that we don't do a tight fade. We give it texture, movement, and I also left a little bit of a fringy kind of feel right in the nape area. So it's pretty cool, unique. I think you're gonna like it. Let's get started with the step-by-step. Here we go. All right, guys, so we're gonna start off. I did shampoo Shrek before I cut his hair. He had some product in his hair, and I think a lot of times we jump right into a haircut and we're like, let's just start cutting it. But it's good to get that product out of there. And then what I'm going to do is go through and do a blow dry, because Shrek has quite a few cowlicks within his hair. So he has a nice fine texture of hair and a lot of cowlicks. So you can see how that kind of pops in the back. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my Ergo paddle brush, I'm working the hair back and forth. What that's going to do is work out that cowlick. So we're creating, with the heat on the blow dryer, we're creating flexibility within that cowlick. So it allows the hair to fall exactly the way that we want it. I'm gonna do the same thing on the front. So I'm pushing the hair back and forth. What that's doing, again, using that heat to create flexibility in the base. And then that's pretty much it. So once I got the hair dry, then I can go in and start my cut. Now, this is a typical salon reality situation. I didn't want to completely change his cut. When he came in, he said, you know what? I don't want to go as short as we've been going. So what I wanted to do is just kind of alter the haircut that he has and create some textures. So I'm using my T trimmer, went around his ear, and then I went through and I just did a little detail work with that fringy area in the back. Some would call it kind of like, you know, if it was any longer, it would be like a soccer mullet in a way. This isn't mullety. It's just, letting the texture live. And also you can notice that Shrek has a lot of calyx in the back of his hair. So having that extra length is kind of fun to play around with. So doing a lot of trimmer over comb. What this is doing is just cleaning up the shape. So I'll look at if there's any weight imbalance within the haircut. It shouldn't be that much cutting because we've already done a pretty good haircut on him prior, let's say 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. So he has a pretty structured cut in there already. So I'm just making some adjustments to it using the trimmer over comb. Same thing on this side, pick up the hair. I'm using the looser teeth of my 339 comb from YS Park and just going through there and like I said, cleaning it up. So now what I'll do in that fringe area in the back is right at the nape, I'll lift the back hair up and then cut underneath it just so that he doesn't have neck hair. I mean, that's not really a style. So I want to go in, I want to leave it longer in the back, but take away the neck hair. So we just kind of go underneath it. So now I'm going to move into my scissor work, and the scissor I chose to use today is the Mizutani DB20 scissor. This is pretty much my go-to scissor for everything. It's a 5.7 inch scissor, has a lot of power because of the shorter blade, and also it's nano powder metal steel, which helps grip the hair, has a more consistent cut, and stays sharper longer. So this is a scissor that we have available on freestyleeducation.com if you want to check it out, but it's definitely my go-to favorite scissor. So I'm going to be working in the cowlick areas. You'll notice I elevated the hair quite a bit, but I don't want to over direct any of his cowlick area. The more over direction I do, the less control I'm going to have in the back. So I'm just pulling the hair straight out from where it wants to live, and that's where I cut it. Because I did the blow dry earlier, it gave me that flexibility in the base of the hair. So when I go through and I cut around the cowlick, I get that nice fall. The challenge is we have to be teaching our guys how to style their hair, how to blow dry their hair, what product to use. Because the biggest thing here is that if I don't teach him how to blow dry his cowlick, then he's going to take his wet hair, he's going to throw product in it, and then it's going to have that separation in the back. The style's not going to look like it does when I'm done with it here. So we need to make sure that we're coaching our guys on how to style their hair at home and maintain the look. A blow dry on a guy's hair takes 5 minutes. I blow dry my hair every day. Even though I wear my hair kind of crazy up and out of control, it's still blown dry because the product is more effective that way. So I definitely want to get into this part. This is a slide cutting. What I'm doing is a half close of the scissor. So I comb all of his hair kind of forward towards the front. And what I'm going to do is just slide cut through and create some texture in the front fringe. I wanted to leave a little more density in the front of Shrek's hair because it gets a little bit weaker and he has that kind of finer fabric of hair. So as I cut through it, I want to make sure that I keep the length in the hair, but just add a little texture to it, which will thicken his hair in the long run. So if you think about if I just left it long and bulky on fine hair, sometimes when you add product to that, it makes it just look still fine. But if you add texture and pieces and movement, once I add that product to it, it kind of brings it to life and it makes it actually look fuller. So we're just going through this. At this point, I'm pulling the hair up. He's going to wear his hair off to one side. So I over direct the hair towards me, which just softens it and allows it to fall the opposite direction. So you can see how this shape is starting to form. It's nice and clean through the sides, gets a little bit longer towards the nape, and also it's longer and textured on top. I'm going to do a little detail work with my DB20 throughout the sideburn area. Just to clean that up. I don't always have to go through with a trimmer and really create a harsh line. Sometimes on a more textured cut, I like to have a softer feel. Even go up the hairline a little bit with the point of the scissor. And then the last thing that I'm going to do, this is a really cool technique I learned a long time ago. Check out Ira Pope Sage on Instagram. It's at Ira. I'll spell it. It's at Ira Pope Sage. This is called shingles. It's something that he did a long time ago, but it's a technique that I keep in my toolbox, for later use. And when I'm doing guys' hair and I want to create a lot of texture, this is a great way to do it because it's pretty harsh. But with finer texture hair or even thick hair, when you go in and you cut these just chunks out of it, when you put product in the hair, it just really comes to life and it adds a lot of texture. You could see the like valleys in the hair, the depth in the haircut. But once you comb it out, it pretty much goes away. But once you add product to it, that's when you really see it form. So you can see how it takes a chunk out, but then as soon as you comb it, it disappears. So, but once you get that product in there, that's when you'll see it really change. So now I'm going to go through, finish off with a blow dry. Now this blow dry is a little bit different than the original one because we're not trying to smooth out any cowlicks or anything. We're just getting rid of the loose hairs, but also blow drying it in the direction that I actually want to style it. So if I want to give it some volume at this point, I can do that. I'm going through with a little bit more of a smoothed out blow dry. And now I'm going to add my product, which is today Mitch Reformer by Paul Mitchell. This is their men's category, men's line. So I'm going to go through. Reformer has a pretty solid hold. I would say it's not the firmest hold you've ever had, but it's definitely a product that will hold your style all day. If you want something with a little firmer hold, you can go with Material, which is in the same line, but has definitely a really firm grip. So we're going to add this. Now, what I want you to focus on is I take the product, put it all through my hands, basically turn my hands white, and then as I start to work the product in, I start in the back. The back of his head has the most density. So why would I wipe all of the product, the thickest part of the product, on the very front of the hair? I wouldn't want to do that because then it would just create too much separation and make his hair look thinner. So I start in the back, start wiping the product in, work it around the cowlick area, then through the top. Then the last thing that I do is work the front of the hair. That's really going to help saturate the hair with the product evenly. I think a lot of guys have that challenge where they just take the hair, put a bunch of product in their hand, in their wet hair, and they shove it up into the front. There's nothing good that's going to come of that. If you put product in your wet hair, it dilutes the product like we talked about. It dilutes the product. You don't get the hold all day. So just learn the blow dry, work the hair back and forth. Honestly, I keep a blow dryer right next to my bed. It's already plugged in. I blow dry really fast in the morning. It takes me 5 minutes. And then I go through, I put my product in, and we're good to go. So my process does not take any longer, but you could see the difference in the result. You get that texture. His hair looks a lot thicker than it would if it was styled wet, and you really get the right outcome from the product as you put it through. So now what I'm doing is just some detail work. I go through and I look at his head shape, and I wanted to create some height to kind of elongate his face a little bit and also build up some height in that crown area. This is the end result. This is one of my favorite haircuts I've probably ever done. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you have any questions, let me know as well. Thanks for watching. All right, guys, and if you like Shrek's cut, then hit the like button, hit the share button, share this video with all of your friends out there. And also, if you want to save 20% on freesaloneducation.com on scissors, carving combs, brushes, all different kinds of products, then use the code MattBeckVlog at checkout. You'll get 20% off your purchase. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also, if you're not a hairdresser, but you're inspired by this video and you want to cut like this, then go to hairsalonlocator.com. That is our website where we put all of our FSE partner salons. So if you're looking for a great salon out there, all over the country, all over the world, then go to hairsalonlocator.com, put in your zip code, and you'll find a salon that's associated with us somewhere, and you can go get your hair done there. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks.